Daily news from the greatest team in Scotland. You've come to the right place. Today's Rangers updates include Mccoist cracks at Rangers narrative as he exclaims, "Don't talk nonsense." Robin Proper admits rarely seen Rangers star has caught his eye in training. Alan Brazil shares what he was told about Rangers and Dave King. Shocking. Sky Sports' Kris Boyd blasts fast Rangers sacking amid hunt to find John Bennett replacement. Davy CLASSEN rejects Rangers transfer as midfielders set for emotional Ajax return. At the end, I'd love to hear your thoughts on all these controversies going around. Classic ally Mccoist, isn't it? Always ready with a quick comeback when someone tries to wind him up, especially when it's about Rangers. This time it was Adrian Durham on TalkSport, having a cheeky go with the old penalty to Rangers line, which is a favorite for winding up Rangers fans. Durham was on about how Rangers supposedly get the most penalties in the Scottish Premiership, and you could practically hear Mccoist rolling his eyes down the line. Mccoist wasn't having it, though. He shot back straight away, calling it nonsense and pointing out that Rangers haven't had a penalty at Celtic Park in years, 7 to be precise. And of course, he couldn't resist reminding Durham that Celtic have had a fair few penalties at Rangers. But Durham, being the wind-up merchant he is, got in the last dig, saying, maybe Rangers should try getting into the box at Celtic Park. Oof, that's a proper dig, but you've got to laugh at the banter. Ali's right to defend the club, though. There's always this narrative about Rangers and penalties, but let's be honest, both sides of the old firm get their fair share of VAR drama. It's just one of those things in Scottish football that keeps the banter alive. Robin Proper's settling in nicely at Rangers and seems to be getting a real feel for Scottish football after making the move from the Netherlands. He was solid in the backline during that crucial 1-0 win over Dundee United, and it looks like he's building a good partnership with John Souttar. But, as Proper says, it takes time to adapt, especially when you've spent your entire career in Dutch football and suddenly find yourself in the Glasgow Goldfish Bowl, where the pressure is constant. Proper's not just impressed by his defensive mates, though. He's been singing the praises of Hamza Igamani, the Moroccan new boy who's apparently been keeping everyone on their toes in training. Proper reckons Igamani's quality is shining through already, and it sounds like having him in training is pushing the defenders to stay sharp. That kind of competition is exactly what you want to hear about. Players challenging each other to improve, both at the back and going forward. It's clear that Proper's focused on getting better with each game, and he's all about developing those partnerships with the likes of Souttar and Jefte. As he says, it's about constantly evolving and learning from each other, whether it's in defense or attack. With the likes of Igamane and Cyril Dessers causing problems up top in training, it's no wonder the competition's fierce. If that kind of spirit carries on into the matches, it's only going to help Rangers push forward and tighten things up as the season goes on. Alan Brazil's been stirring the pot again, this time talking about Dave King's lack of support from the Rangers board as he pitches a return to Rangers. According to Brazil, it's shocking that King apparently doesn't have any backing from within the boardroom. On TalkSport, he mentioned that he thought King was actually banned from being a director, which raises doubts about how he could take up the chairman role after John Bennett's resignation. King's thrown his name into the ring, but if what Brazil's been told is true, it doesn't sound like he's got much of a chance. Brazil even suggested that King's comments about the club being in chaos, from the board to the team, might not be doing him any favors. It's all a bit of a mess, isn't it? The thing is, stability is what's needed at Rangers right now, especially after Bennett's sudden exit and the drama that's followed. With the club sitting third in the league, missing out on Champions League football, and investors looking for some clarity, bringing King back might not be the answer the boardroom's looking for. From the sounds of it, key investors are rallying around to figure out the next move, and it seems like King won't be part of that equation. Kris Boyd isn't holding back on his thoughts about Rangers' recent shambles when it comes to filling key roles at the club. He's blasted the way Rangers handled the hiring and almost immediate sacking of Blaine McConnell, who was brought in as head of marketing only for it to be revealed he was a Celtic supporter. The backlash was swift, and McConnell's role was downgraded to a short-term consultancy before he was swiftly shown the door. Boyd's point: that's not how a well-run club should be operating. Boyd's message is clear. Rangers need to get their act together and find the right person for the chairman role after John Bennett's resignation, whether they're a Rangers man or not. The focus has to be on competence and getting someone who can handle the pressures of the job. With all the chaos and instability at the top, Boyd believes the club needs to start doing proper due diligence, something that clearly wasn't done with the McConnell fiasco. He's not wrong there. It's pretty embarrassing for a club of Rangers' stature to be caught out like that. The pressure's now on John Gilligan, who stepped in temporarily following Bennett's exit. Not only does he need to find a new chairman, but the club's still on the hunt for a CEO after St. Mirren's Jim Gillespie pulled out of talks at the last minute. Boyd's criticism cuts to the heart of what's been going wrong: poor decision-making and a lack of proper planning. The club can't afford more missteps, especially with so much riding on finding the right people to lead Rangers through this tricky period. As for Dave King, Boyd's not dismissing the idea of him returning. King's thrown his hat in the ring for a 2-year spell as chairman and has been talking up potential investment from Saudi Arabia and the US, which could be a lifeline for the club. Whether or not King is the best person for the job remains to be seen, but Boyd's point is that Rangers can't afford to get this wrong. Whoever they appoint, they need to make sure they've done their homework this time. Looks like Davy Claessen's given Rangers the cold shoulder and is heading back to Ajax instead of Rangers. The 31-year-old was reportedly on Rangers' radar for a free transfer after leaving Inter Milan, but according to transfer expert Nicolo Schira, Claessen wasn't keen on a move to Glasgow. He's also knocked back an offer from Royal Antwerp, with his heart set on an emotional return to Ajax, where he's already spent 2 successful stints. It's a bit of a blow for Rangers, especially with the club looking to strengthen after a bit of a mixed bag of a summer transfer window. The squad could have done with some extra quality in midfield, and Claessen, an experienced player with over 300 appearances for Ajax and a Europa League final under his belt, would have brought a bit of class. However, it seems the lure of returning to his old stomping ground in the Netherlands was just too strong. Rangers were tipped to dip into the free agent market post-window, but it won't be for Claessen. The focus may now turn to other available options like Steven Alzate or Marco van Ginkel, both of whom are still free agents. Leave your thoughts on each of the news stories in the comments below. Is Ali Mccoist right? What do you think about Proper's comments and Alan Brazil's opinions on Dave King? What's your take on that? Kris Boyd, who always defends us from nasty comments, what's your opinion on him? And finally, Davy Claessen, what do you think? Hit that like button on the video, and if you missed yesterday's video, it's packed with bombshells too. I'll leave the link at the end for you to check out. We are the people.